Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sonic Multiverse. We're jumping right back into what if Metal Sonic became a hero? So if you're not caught up to date, I recommend watching the previous parts before this. But without further delay, let's jump right in. Flying high above the snowy peaks of Soliana, a leather-winged femme fatale was flying her way towards Eggman's top-secret base in White Acropolis. She received a message over her intercom.
Agent Rouge the Bat, your mission is simple. Secure the Scepter of Darkness from Dr. Eggman, and don't get caught.
Just leave it to me, boss. I got this. Sneaking through the shadows, she made her way into the base. She took great care to make sure there wasn't a trace that she was ever there. Jumping out of a vent, she found herself in Eggman's vault. Standing before her was the Scepter of Darkness. To Rouge's surprise, there didn't seem to be any significant security beyond the vault. She was a bit disappointed. And here I thought it would be a challenge. Oh well, time to get the scepter and get my pet.
And what do we have here?
In the corner of her eye, Rouge could see a pair of red dreadlocks. She smirked a bit. Came all the way from Mobius to see little old me, Nucky. You could have just called. It was only as he stepped into the light that Rouge got a good look at him. This figure did resemble Knuckles the Echidna, but his dreadlocks were shinier, his arms were connected by bolts, and his eyes glowed green. What in the... Great. You're not one of Eggman's replicas, aren't you?
Oh, please, gorgeous. Don't compare me to my lonesome copy. I think we both know I'm the superior model.
Metal Knuckles winked. Rouge rolled her eyes in annoyance. The robot leaned up against the box.
Now, this is how it's gonna go, Batface. Can I call you Batface?
I'd prefer Rouge.
Okay, Batface. So, I'm going to take you to the holding cells. You're going to leave the Scepter of Darkness thingy where it is, and no one gets hurt. After all, I wouldn't want to hurt a hair on your pretty little head.
Rouge smirked at the robot. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, sugar. Rouge smacked the robot aside with a spinning kick, sending him crashing through a wall. And without missing a beat, she snagged the Scepter of Darkness before soaring out of the vault. May it blow my cover, but totally worth it. White Acropolis was now on high alert. Rouge flew through the facility, dodging gunfire, busting badniks, and all the while trying to contact GUN. This is Agent Rouge the Bat. I could use some backup.
That was 26 hours ago. We've lost contact with Rouge since then. We can only assume things have gone south. We're relying on you to finish the job.
Special Agent Shadow the Hedgehog nodded. Understood. Break into the base, assist Rouge, and get out. Shadow raced towards Eggman's base. There was no time to be subtle. Shadow blasted through the main gate, leaving shards of metal in his path. As robots went to inspect what was going on, Shadow took cover, allowing them to pass.
Alright, now that they're busy, I need to find Rouge.
Luckily, that didn't take very long, as a white bat appeared behind him. Shadow, why you?
It was a request from the president himself. Apparently your mission is very important.
I know, handsome. That's why I was planning the perfect escape for the last few hours. Well, time to improvise. Come on, let's go. The pair of spies were headed towards the main exit when a voice rang out.
Well, what do we have here? A pair of foolish mortals breaking into my master's base? You will pay with your lives.
Shadow grabbed the Tails doll by the throat.
Okay, that's a strong grip.
Listen closely. You will disable the security system and allow us to leave. In return, I'll leave you in one piece. Is that understood?
Yeah, whatever you say.
That's good to hear. And just for the record, I'm the immortal ultimate life form. Remember that.
Hey you! a red robot appeared.
Batgirl, I think we have some unfinished business.
Not this loser again. Come on, Shadow, let's... Before she could finish, a blue robot appeared, one resembling both Sonic and Emerald.
The Doctor rebuilt the Gizoid? Your assertion is understandable, yet flawed organic ultimate life form. I am General Sonic, the perfect battle machine.
Well then, General Sonic, I won't let you discredit either of their names anymore. And with that, Shadow leaped into combat. He took full advantage of his Chaos abilities, but General Sonic still had access to all of his flexible skills and laser beams from his time as Silver Sonic 2, combined with his powers as a Gizoid, made him quite the combatant. General Sonic deflected a Chaos Spear back at the Ultimate Lifeform, knocking Shadow away briefly. Taking the opportunity, he attacked Rouge, using his extendo arms to grab the Scepter of Darkness before knocking her away. Rouge was about to retaliate, but then she was attacked by Metal Knuckles. The Bat battled her rival's bionic brother in mid-air combat. Although Metal Knuckles was tough, Rouge still had the advantage. After all, she stalemated the real Knuckles. This outdated tin can is just a faker. The treasure hunter began to spin like a drill as she barreled into Metal Knuckles' head, sending him falling into the snow. With one badnik down, Shadow and Rouge began to team up against General Sonic. Although he was still fierce, he was no match for two members of Team Dark. The blue Gizoid looked at the metallic Echidna.
Our current strategy is unsuccessful. I suggest a change in tactics. Yeah, what were you thinking? This.
General Sonic lunged at Metal Knuckles, gripping his fingers into the robot Echidna's metal frame. The fake Gizoid was using his signature ability to fuse with machines. After mere moments, General Knuckles was born. The chrome blue Echidna looked at his adversaries.
As you can see, Organics, I am my own best team.
Rouge noticed that this new form lacked any fingers, meaning that the scepter... It's inside him! He must be using the scepter to augment his powers. This is almost a fair fight. Agreed. General Knuckles attempted to eradicate the pair with a series of lasers and cut them to pieces with his new razor claws. But GUN's toughest agents were more than skilled enough to dodge whatever he threw at them. After a long series of close calls with his attacks, Shadow and Rouge finally had the upper hand. Shadow launched a Chaos Lance at the machine, stunning it momentarily. Using this opportunity, Shadow rolled up into a spin dash, with Rouge picking him up and slam dunking him into the machine. This had enough force to dislodge Metal Knuckles from the fusion. But General Sonic wasn't as lucky. He took the full blunt of the attack, shattering him to pieces on the ground. Still operational, but his exterior was in pieces on the ground. Unfortunately, General Sonic wasn't the only thing broken from that attack. The Scepter of Darkness laid shattered on the ground. A black mist emerged from it and consumed the ultimate life form Shadow before taking form, reflecting his appearance. How ironic fate can be. It seems I have you to thank for my resurrection. I thank you, Shadow the Hedgehog. Who are you, and how do you know my name? Is it possible you've forgotten me? I am Mephiles the Dark.
Okay, great, you guys are associated now. Mephiles, was it? You're still Eggman property. You're coming with me.
Mephiles was not amused by this interruption. It appears this inferior creature wishes to share in your gift, Shadow. A one-way trip to oblivion. Along with himself, Mephiles warped Rouge, Shadow, and the Tails doll to parts unknown, leaving Metal Knuckles and General Sonic alone in the snow. But not for long. Eggman soon returned, and when he learned the Scepter of Darkness and the creature contained were now gone, he wasn't amused.
And to think you were designed to be Metal's successor, General Sonic. What a disappointment.
Master, I was simply doing my best to achieve my...
Did I say you could speak? No excuses.
Eggman slammed his heel into the jaw of General Sonic. It completely fell off, leaving a black gaping hole where it once stood.
You're beyond repair, and you're dead to me.
Ivo turned to Metal Knuckles.
You're lucky I still have use for you. With Tails all gone, I need you to guard the base. Oh, and tell the robots to take General Sonic to the scrapyard. They know the place. They can take one of my boats to get to the island.
Understood, sir. Thank you, Lord Eggman. As Eggman continued to ramble, Metal Sonic just stared. No, he intently stared at General Sonic. Though he didn't care for the machine, they were essentially brothers. Their operating system wasn't that different once you take away the Gizoid upgrades. Metal knew General Sonic was still in salvageable condition. And yet, Eggman threw him away like it was nothing. Sure, he had failed, but that just felt wrong. His entire potential was thrown away simply because his creator didn't care enough. But perhaps Lord Eggman had some reason for this, something beyond Metal Sonic's comprehension. The only question now was, why was Metal only now beginning to question his master, now that the Tails doll was gone? Metal didn't have time to question this any further, as he was rudely interrupted.
Metal, are you even listening? I said we're going to Dusty Desert. We need to secure the princess for the experiment. Come on.
Metal Sonic obeyed his master. In the dusty deserts of Soliana, Elise sat alone in Eggman's makeshift dungeon. But not for long. Sonic and Tails busted through a wall. They had come to save the princess. Elise thanked the heroes profusely, but it was quickly made transparent that she wasn't rescued quite yet.
I must congratulate you on finding my new base, Sonic, said Dr. Eggman sarcastically. But I'm afraid you can't have the princess quite yet. Not until I unlock the secrets of the Flames of Disaster. But by all means, feel free to have my guard dogs.
The Mad Doctor's quip turned out to be half literal, as a giant mechanized dog known as the Egg Surferus appeared alongside Metal Sonic. The pair of heroes took up a defensive position. However, to the Doctor's surprise, Tails took the lead. I rebuilt Metal Sonic once before. Maybe I can get through to him. Can you deal with the canine Sonic? All right, Tails. I just hope you know what you're doing. As Sonic dealt with the heavy metal Hellhound, Tails tried his best to reason with the metallic blur. Metal, listen to me. Don't you remember? Cream found you outside her house. She took you to me. I fixed you up and you decided you could do better than work for Eggman. You can do that again. Trust me. The Fox Boy pleaded, but it all seemed to fall on deaf ears as Metal Sonic continued attacking, wordlessly and soullessly. Okay then. I'm sorry, but if you're not going to listen to reason, I'll have to beat the sense into you. Miles hit Metal with a surprise tailspin, knocking the steel imposter to the floor. Don't worry, Metal. When I get you to the lab, I can buff out any dents. But Tails wouldn't get the chance, as Metal Sonic rocketed towards the Fox, knocking him to the ground. As Tails laid there in pain, Metal Sonic analyzed the situation. He could strike down the Doctor's opponent right here and then. But for some reason it felt wrong. That doesn't make any sense. He's an enemy of Eggman. He should be destroyed. But why won't he? Before Metal Sonic could question it any further, he was kicked in the back of the head by the real Sonic. Sorry, Metal. I know you're not in the right state of mind right now, but hands off my buddy. Metal surprisingly felt relieved by this challenge. It was something he wasn't conflicted about. Quite the contrary, in fact. It felt natural for Metal to battle Sonic. No matter which planet they found themselves on, Earth, Mobius, or otherwise, they were always at odds. As their brawl continued, Metal reminisced about previous fights he had with Sonic. It simply seemed to be in their nature to be rivals. But if that was the case, why does he remember battling Eggman? No, Metal tried his best to lock these thoughts out of his processors. He doesn't have time to question it. He isn't allowed to question it. He lives and dies to serve his empire. For he is a loyal servant of Dr. Eggman. That is who I am. Metal whispered those words to himself. He felt as if he remembered saying them once upon a time, but he couldn't quite place the context.
I am Metal Sonic, a highly engineered artificial copy of Sonic the Hedgehog, created by Dr. Eggman. You may have created me, but so whenever you threaten the lives of the innocents, know that I will be there, Eggman. This is who I am. Of course. Why would I question it? That is all I am.
Metal was aggressively snapped back into reality as he was flung into a stone pillar. Sonic wanted to drag Metal back to Tails' workshop for repairs, but with more badniks coming and no sign of Metal Sonic stopping, he had to make a choice. Sonic grabbed the injured Tails and Elise before running off into the distance, leaving Metal Sonic broken, both physically and mentally. Useless metal duplicates! If you want something done right, do it yourself! You're lucky you're still essential to my plan, Metal. Head back to White Acropolis and await further instruction. Metal Sonic wordlessly obeyed. After all, that's the use of him and his kind, to be used and disposed of as their master wishes, isn't it? And this is where we'll be leaving this what if for right now. Leave your thoughts on what you think will happen next. I'm Comic Fan 13, and I hope you had a good day.